And that is what is at stake in this election. It's also why this network is so important, because we're not going to be able to change politics unless we also do a little bit to change ourselves. You know, one of the things that I always say to people is that government can solve a lot of our problems, but government can't solve all our problems. And Reverend Sharpton has talked about that. And we were just talking in the back about what happened in terms of Don Imus and the nonsense that had been spoken on the radio. Now, we can have the FCC and others talk about how we enforce the various laws to restrict statements that are made, but the fact is we've got a First Amendment. What we have to do is make sure that all of us are not supporting the degradation of our women. That we're not, you know, I know that there's been a little contest between the rappers and Reverend Sharpton about what's appropriate and what's not. Let me say this. I haven't just singled out the rappers. I've said I've heard those words around the kitchen table in some homes. I hear them in the barber shop. I hear them on the basketball court. We all know that all of us have been complicit in diminishing ourselves and engaging in the kind of self-hatred that keeps our young women and our young men down. That's right. And that's something that we've got to talk about in this election. What do we have to do? What kinds of responsibilities do all of us have? I am willing to fight to make sure that we change funding in education, because it doesn't make any sense that some schools get twice as much money per pupil as others. And that's a law that has to change across the nation. But I also know that it's not going to make a dime's bit of difference if we put more money in the schools if when children come home from school, we're not willing to turn off the television set and make sure that that child sits down and does their homework. And we're meeting with our teachers. We've got responsibilities too. We know that our communities have been redlined, that insurance companies and drug companies are not investing in our communities, and that's important. But I also know that we could transform our communities if we supported our local businesses. That's right. And if we kept, you know, one thing always gets me mad, Reverend, when I'm driving through the south side of Chicago and I see folks throwing out garbage on the streets, along the commercial strips, that's something that we've got control over. Nobody wants to shop where there's 40-ounce bottle broken up. That's something that we've got to talk about.